Hey everyone, Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon recently released their 0.9 patch, and I am amazed at all the changes and improvements they included in it. In this video, I will briefly go through many of the new things they added with the patch, and include a couple updates from my previous tips and tricks video. Fortunately, most of my tips are still valid. There have only been 2 minor changes affecting the location of 2 things, which I will highlight later in the video, and one thing that doesn't seem to work anymore. I've not been able to get any enemies to spawn in when I'm sleeping out in the open, so it doesn't seem like you can farm resources or experience like you used to. This patch did also wipe all the save files, but I have been really enjoying playing through the whole thing again, and with so many changes it feels like a brand new game. The developer has stated that there will be another reset when they release version 1.0, but I still recommend playing it now, if nothing other than to get a feel for the game, so when version 1 comes out, you can hit the ground running. You could also specifically play in a way that you would not normally, just to see the different outcomes to the various quests. One of the first things I want to mention is the update they did to the graphics and cutscenes. It's far better than what many AAA studios deliver. Here is a small section of a cutscene. I'm not going to show the whole thing to avoid spoilers, but this was really impressive. At one point, I assumed that a cutscene was not loading properly for me. I stared at the screen for a solid 2 minutes, waiting, until I realized that it was not a cutscene and it was actually a playable section of the game. In addition, they also updated many of the other general graphics throughout the game, which seemed to have improved on many of the issues, specifically with the lighting and the day and night cycle transition. They also updated the visuals for many of the NPCs, as well as many of the locations in the game. Now of course, with every game update, things do go wrong. One issue which the developers are aware of is the game seems to be crashing a fair bit. They are actively working towards a fix, so have some patience. I have experienced a couple crashes myself, but fortunately the game does seem to autosave very regularly. So each time it's crashed, I've only lost maximum 5 minutes of gameplay, which really isn't that bad. But this could be a much larger issue if you are playing on a higher difficulty that only saves at certain times, or if you've turned off autosaving. I briefly mentioned that they updated many locations in the game. In Act 1, almost each area has been updated with changes that range from very minor to complete overhauls of the entire location and its surrounding area. It has been great playing through, as there is the familiarity of the area, but everything feels new. The rework and expansion they did to the prologue and demo area of the game is substantial, and it's well worth exploring, even if you don't plan to do a full playthrough until version 1 comes out. Along those lines, a couple updates they did that affect my tips and tricks video was changing the location of your stash and the location of the barracks. Your stash is now located here at the back of the Horns of the South. It is also still in a few other locations around the map just like it was before, as well as in a few more. Now you also have 2 options for the barracks, right here and here. For those that did not see my previous video, I mentioned that you want to stash all crafting materials. It keeps your carry weight down, and you can still access all your materials at any crafting station. And the barracks provides you a safe place to rest, to heal, or to pass time. One of the other major updates they made was to the skill trees. I'm still getting used to the new system and figuring out what path to progress down. It does seem like they have given you many more options and very clear and distinctly different paths. The nice thing is you have access to a potion that will reset everything, so you can try something out and if you don't like it, easily change it. Right now I'm not too sure how many of these you can get in the game, or if you're able to craft them on your own at some point. So far I've only found 3. Another area they've improved on is how your choices affect the world around you. This was always an aspect I really liked from my previous playthroughs, and they've just improved upon it. There are clear in-world changes depending on what you do, even with something as minor as saying a guard was drunk, or not. They've also completely overhauled many of the quests, which gives them a completely new feel. This is great because the quests now flow much more smoothly, and the connections feel more real. Another change they made that improves the quality of life is how you get the Ethereal Cobweb. It's now far easier. You can get it from any creature at night, and if you run into any of these things in the world, you can get a bunch of it from them too. Now it feels like it's much more balanced. And finally, The last big change I'm going to cover is the addition of a player home that you can purchase. You can even purchase items to decorate and furnish it, although I don't think you can use them yet, unless I am just doing it wrong. So I'm sure there will be many updates to this with the full release. In your home, you can have all the crafting stations, which is quite handy, and you have access to your stash. You do also have a bed, but it didn't seem to work for me. Having a home is a neat little feature, but also from what I have seen, it's not something you have to do if you don't want to. So far I've not come across anything that has required me to have the home to progress, although I haven't done a full playthrough yet, so feel free to let me know if there is something. I'm sure for the full release, it will be fully functional and maybe have an actual important use to the game. Anyway, there are also far more changes and improvements to the game than what I covered here. I'm very much enjoying playing the game, and I look forward to when the full release comes out. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.